about censorship, right? They just canceled the president, his Twitter, Facebook.
Do I think that's okay?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's okay. I think he should be able to have free speech too.
Yeah, so everyone's trying to cancel him and others. Do you think it's dangerous? Think it's a problem? Is it anti-American?
I think it kind of ruins our democracy and what it stands for. Just being here on these grounds where we are right now, and that's kind of being impeded on currently.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do we go from here? Do we bring him back? Bring him back on the platforms, or what do we do?
We gotta just contact the people that are in charge and see what the best course of action is, and see what else the vice president and president decide on what they want to do.
Right. How about the CEOs of these companies, Jack Dorsey? What do we do about that?
You can't change people. We're just creatures of habit. So either way, it's kind of. I mean, you could try and change them, try and get a different opinion, try and get a different result, but at the end, I don't know if they're gonna be willing to do anything about it. Because how long does he have left in his term? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just a few days.
No,
you guys are great sports, and it's exactly what we want to do is humanize the cops, especially everything that's going on. So we can talk about anything, but I like to break the ice to see if there's anything you want to talk about.
No, I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability, but that's
okay.
Yeah, whatever you want to discuss, that's fine. I'll do it the best I can, but
okay.
For the sake of the climate,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
To a certain level.
I'm with you. We're trying to do it better.
Okay.
So how about with the Capitol? Okay. Is from my perspective, I saw a ton of wonderful things from the cops. Okay. Like I think in their shoes they didn't want a Boston massacre, Boston Tea Party situation, right?
Okay.
So unfortunately, a few of them got harmed and lost their life. But we're starting to see now they got families. These are regular guys, and they're doing their best. What do you think? What did you see?
Well, yes. I mean, officers are just like everybody that you see around. They have families. They're black, white, yellow, purple. Officers are just like everybody else. Everybody has their own families. Everybody has their own lives, and they are to protect themselves, just like they would protect the senators and representatives that are inside.
Yeah, a lot of times I love to ask people when they give such a hard time about cops. I say, do they even know what COP stands for, right?
Okay.
And it's Citizen on Patrol. From my understanding, all these cops, they're not the government. They're our people.
Okay.
And we went through a ton of effort to vet them, to hire them, to entrust them with the power. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, yeah. I mean, COP is community-oriented policing, and so when department goes to hire a police officer, goes to a very extensive background checks, references are vetted. It's not as if the department is just picking up somebody off the side of the street and hiring them. So it goes to extensive backgrounds to put the best of the best in to protect the community.
So I ask you right now, it seems like the most important freedom of speech, it seems like it's pretty restricted right now. I mean, the president himself, he got canceled. He got taken down off of Twitter, taken down on Facebook. And I'm sure, do you ever have any experiences where you bite your tongue and you don't say things because you're concerned about the reaction?
No, I'm as far as free speech, we took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, and that ensures all amendments, okay, and everybody's constitutional rights are protected. So for the sake of that, I'm not going to discuss that. We're just going to keep that at.
Sure. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks for what you do. I know from experience it's very risky work. You're constantly watching your back and helping each other out. So thank you for what you do.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, so I'm here with Derek and Paul.
Yeah.
Derek and Paul. Okay, so we're on the Mark Naughton Show where we discuss anything you want to discuss. So usually 60, 90 seconds, but the time's yours. Anything on your guys' mind, politics, religion, whatever.
Well, I mean,
COVID.
we did just come visit this building and assumed that it would be open, considering.
Yeah, and it's definitely closed.
And it's definitely closed. I'm assuming probably because of what's going on January 6th.
Yeah, and if not, then definitely the pandemic. So it's a weird time to come to this city of all cities.
Okay.
I've never seen an event hall.
So right where you're standing, this was This place during the summer, they're burning cop cars, they're flipping cop cars, all right where you're standing.
Oh,
this
wow.
place was under total riots.
Wow.
Did you even know about that?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, I actually didn't. I had no idea.
Okay, so how about the Capitol? You guys want to make any comments about the Capitol?
I mean, it's similar to what we saw all year.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's definitely different in its direction, in its impetus and its cause.
So go ahead.
I will say that honestly, while there is something to be said about the impetus and its cause, there's also something to be said about the fact that humans just have more time than they usually do currently.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
interesting.
people have a lot more time to think about the things that they're dealing with, and therefore
I
things
feel
like this are going to
yeah.
happen because they have the time to do such.
Yeah. What is it? Couch warriors are turning into actual warriors, if you will.
Interesting.
And so,
Interesting.
And due to the fact that we all have more free time, I think that more people are taking political activism a little bit more seriously. Unfortunately, they're blending that with violence. So, in both cases, I do believe that it's similar. But again, the cause and the impetus are both very different.
And I feel like generally our society tries to blanket statement everything to be like, oh, it's good we're online school, or it's bad we're online school, or anything. But I think the reality is there's more nuance than we like to think of. It's not necessarily one good or bad.
I think coming out of it will, like, having this unique situation has made us approach education in a really different way, that we're going to come out of it with a lot of new systems for education, and it might come up with, like, this was a really good thing that we can implement afterwards into what we thought was school system before.
Okay. Do you think we'll be returning anytime soon?
No, yeah, probably maybe 2022.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think it's going to have any lasting effects on these children?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not being, like, socialized normally right now. So maybe that's something that we're going to rise to the challenge and try and, like, innovate new ways to socialize children growing up. But definitely all of the kids who are on Zoom right now aren't getting the same social benefits of play that they would normally get.
Yeah, I think with technology, we've gotten so far away from interaction with each other, and now you have this. Now they're not even in the same room.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting because it's like what
the other day.
like what defines like connection, community, socialization. Because I think right now, prior to this, there was this common like belief that technology, you weren't actually connecting with people. And I know a big thing, like especially in disability community and like chronic illness, is that like a lot of those people don't have anyone they can connect to beyond like their online groups, but for them that's very much real connections. And so I think it depends. There's definitely, like you're saying, like pros and cons, but I think that it could be helpful, and like they could still be connected in other ways.
Weren't we talking about video games the other day too? And like kids are always like chatting on video games, so like people that use Steam or like Twitch, is that you're like constantly connecting with your friends over that video game in that world, and that's like probably the closest thing to play that you're gonna get, rather than a stupid like Zoom call for class.
Yeah, honestly, Zoom calls, I feel like I'm barely getting to know anyone. Like I'm in a different grade now, and like I just barely know people I've been in class with now for 4 terms. And so
I wouldn't rely on technology, but I wouldn't take it out of the picture just yet. It's like, how do you implement it in the correct way?
I feel like too, the thing that's hard is it's easy to build a lot of many like shallow relationships with technology, but it's hard to build a few like deep relationships.
Yeah.
Like you really.
It depends on how
But then FaceTime.
We haven't evolved communication in the way that it could be. Yeah.
Do you think it's it can be a little bit less genuine? I mean, for example, there's a whole show, Catfish, right? These people built the long-lasting relationship, and it's built completely on lies.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Is that a risk? Is that real?
I think.
Always a risk.
Yeah, it's always a risk.
Yeah.
There's always false information, and I think people can lie in person. People can lie online, and there's always going to be lies or like people misleading you.
Yeah.
In the real world, in the technology world, online world.
Yeah. So I guess that just like brings
You
up
should
like
be
what's your
cognizant.
digital identity, and then how do we like trust other people's digital identity?
There's
but
no
then
trust.
genuine, authentic communication is kind of like a separate thing. So.
Okay. Who am I with?
My name is Len Demmer.
Okay.
I work with the Aru Solidarity Movement. We are an organization of white people that work under the leadership of the Black working class.
Okay.
So we go into the white community to raise reparations for the Black community, specifically the Black Power Blueprint.
Okay.
This is an organization in St. Louis, Missouri. that is a economic development, like a black-led African economic development program.
Okay, so you said you bring information to the white community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and did I hear you right? Did you say reparations?
Yes.
Okay, why would well, I got a better question. How would you, let's say you want to give reparations, how would you?
Yeah, I mean, like, how would we raise reparations? Or?
Yeah, so would it be a private raising, or would it be a government issue? Like, how would we?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily government issued right now.
Okay.
But I mean, we're trying to get to the people. So, it would be raising. Like today, we were selling these Burning Spear newspapers.
Okay.
Black Power newspaper that's written by the African People's Socialist Party, who's the leadership we work under. And yeah, so we sell them for $1, trying to get the anti-colonial word out there.
So do you guys provide money to African Americans? Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, we raise reparations for the African community, yes, yeah.
Have you paid any out yet?
Yeah, I mean, this is the project that the reparations have been going to.
Okay.
Since 2016, they've been able to take a neglected African neighborhood, transformed it into, like, a thriving African community. Just be open to, being under the leadership of the African working class. Like, they've been the people that have been colonized and been oppressed the most, and for the longest, hundreds of years. So what we can do as white people is, organize in our community, get the word of reparations out there, and we're trying to just build a better community for everybody.
I'm Mark, and who are we here with?
My name's Cooper.
Cooper, okay.
Yeah.
So first time running the steps?
Yeah.
How was it?
Man, it was pretty exhilarating. I've loved the Rocky movies, so it was like pretty cool to like act that out.
Absolutely. So
Pretty dope.
So what we're out here doing is we want to talk to people a little bit about freedom, because freedom of expression, that's art, right? That's the whole
Right.
point.
Yeah.
So here in America, First Amendment, we're wondering, is the First Amendment in trouble? Is it in jeopardy?
Yeah, that's a big question. You kind of see like big tech sort of taking over and kind of, I guess putting like the decision in their own hands, sort of like censoring people, like just because they don't agree with what, they might agree with. And, like the First Amendment doesn't really stand for that. And so I'm someone that like kind of sees it as, America's a place that's pretty open to all ideas, whether you agree with them or not. And so it shouldn't really censor because, you may not agree with something someone says. It should just, kind of be allowed, because that's what the First Amendment sort of entails, and how it's written.
So we hear it's a new movement, the cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they shut the president down.
Yeah.
Took him off of Twitter, off of Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can do that to him, can they do that to anyone?
Do it to anybody. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the fear with this trend that's starting to happen. It's just kind of, I think there's a line that's sort of being pushed, and big tech and those companies have a lot of power. It's just kind of scary, to think like how far can they really push the line, because they can censor the president, they can censor just about anyone they want to. So I think they kind of have a little too much power, in my opinion, but it's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, well, thanks for your time.
Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.